This is not about who I like on either side of the aisle. This is about just being objective. Here are the odds, for example, against the Tonsa Alliance, the obstacles of Tonsa Alliance, which you may not like, but they are objective and real. Firstly, what will happen on the 13th of August is that a voter that wants to vote for the Tonsa Alliance will not find the name Tonsa Alliance on the ballot paper. It's not a registered organization, but they are running with it. We are Tonsa, we are Tonsa, we are Tonsa Alliance, we are Tonsa Alliance. That name will not be there on the ballot paper. So, a voter who walks into the ballot box doesn't have the whole day to think, if there is no Tonsa Alliance, then what else is it? Okay? That is factor number one, or obstacle number one for Tonsa Alliance. The second obstacle is that the political party on which Tonsa Alliance is featuring its candidate. Even I, who is in politics, cannot remember that name very well. NRPUP. I can't remember it. I've not internalized it. What more for the common person? So, it may be difficult for them to find that. This is a country where illiteracy rates are very high. If you watched one of my podcasts where I was dealing with this matter, only 2% of Zambians can read and understand English. Statistics do not lie, except in politics. Numbers do not lie, they only lie in politics. So, that's factor number two. You will not be able to easily find the name of the political party. Factor number three, a voter by the 13th of August in Shangombo and other outlying areas would not have heard the name of this political party by the day we are voting. Fourth factor, this is a political party which has no structures on the ground. I've not heard of the provincial chairman for this political party in Western Province, in Southern Province, even in Luapula, where they could claim to be their stronghold. I don't know the district chairman for Chembe, district, for example, and that kind of thing. That is another obstacle. The lack of structures, the infrastructure on the ground. So after a rally, after a Tonsa rally, for example, what is it that remains behind? To drive that chimwera, to hold on, to that chimwera. Nothing remains behind. Okay? So it's like you have started the fire, okay, and it burns for 2 days, then it quenches itself. So it doesn't matter how intense the fire was. Nobody will remember that there was a fire here. It is gone. So they don't have this infrastructure. The other factor is that as new as Tonsa is, they have no candidates in about 1/3 of the total number of seats. Of 226 seats, they have no candidates at parliamentary level in 75 of those seats. Meaning, apart from the Chimwera, they are non-existent in those 75 constituencies, which is almost a whole province if you take that number. At local government level, they have not filed in almost half of the 1,850 wards in the country. Even the independents have more candidates than the Tonsa Alliance. They have 335. There are 335 independent candidates, okay, that have filed. And the Tonse has 154. Okay? Just about half of the candidates. When it comes, to the voting day, if they have no structures, and I'm canvassing this from experience, if they have no structures in these areas, where will they get the polling agents from? Because the polling agents come from your structures. In PF, our polling agents came from what we call the polling station committee. We had a committee at each polling station of 12. And because these are surrounding the polling station, that's where we got the 2 polling agents. It was easy to feed them. It was easy to contact them. It was easy to ensure that they are at the polling station at 06 hours as voting starts. Okay? So these are the odds against our colleagues in the Tonsa Alliance. So even as some people would want them to win, they have to take these odds into account. Because this is what leads opposition political parties to cry foul at the end of the day that the election has been rigged. Because your analysis was not correct. Because you were more emotional than analytical. Now, all of us know, Caesar, that in life we always don't get what we want. That's not how life rewards us. You might want the best job, you may not get it. You may want to drive the best car, but you may not have the opportunity to ride the best car because your income doesn't allow it. Okay? And the English adage says, if wishes were horses, then beggars would ride.
Now, would you say the Tonse Pamosi Alliance rushed to participate in this coming election? Looking at what you have just explained.
No, they didn't rush. They have every right to participate in the election. The problem that they have is more logistical than anything else. I'm dealing with issues of logistics here. 2 days ago, when I was looking at the documents which I have, I actually discovered, and I didn't know, I actually discovered that there are candidates that are under Makebi Zulu and another list of candidates under Brian Mundubile. Okay? So they don't have one list. In other words, they themselves have split the group. Okay? There could be candidates under Makebi Zulu that would want the candidates for Makebi Zulu, but they don't want they may not necessarily vote for Mundubile. There's no guarantee.
Now, what do you think is making the opposition NRPUP to have confidence that they are going to beat President Hakainde Hichilema and the UPND? This is what they're saying. They're saying they have won already.
No. I would caution them. If they spoke to me, I would caution them that Even in football, I watched the finals between Argentina and Spain. Okay, my wish was that Argentina should win the World Cup, I think for the 4th or 5th time. My wish was not granted. Spain won. So I remained brooding, but that was a reality, which I couldn't control. So I think it's important, to have our wishes with caution. And like I've said before, against these factors, these variables which I've outlined, it would be a miracle in Zambian politics for Tonse to win this election. Not that I don't want them to win, but the factors are certainly at odds with the wishes.
It will be a miracle. That's your statement. Now, if that miracle happens, how are you going to react?
It's okay. What happened when the miracles happened under Jesus? When he turned, got a loaf of bread and he was able to miracle it into, abundance of food. People ate. So if the miracle happens, I'll just say a miracle has happened. That's all.
One should be scared like these are the people I was saying may never win because of the statistics.
No. That is the problem, Caesar.
Well, let's address that.
That is the problem. I don't speak to please people or to please anybody, whether I think they will be in power or not. I'm not looking for a job from Brian Mundubile, and I'm sure he knows that. I'm not looking for a job from HH, and I'm sure he knows that. I'm looking for a good country led by a number of good men and women. Okay? So even if Brian Mundubile won tomorrow and he said to me, but you said that I was not to win, I'll still say, yes, that's what I believed in. I'm surprised that you have won, but that's what I believed in. That's my character.